Hello, my sweet summer children. I'm back with the juice to get you through the long nights. If you watch Westworld and you missed my review, you can check that out. I will link it below. So I just want to talk about something. I just have to talk about it. A lot of the magic and lore from A Song of Ice and Fire was removed from Game of Thrones. This caused many storylines to be utterly changed or affected by what George R.R. Martin refers to as the butterfly effect. So Dan and Dave admitted they wanted to remove as many of the fantasy elements as possible in order to broaden the appeal of the show. This left a lot of book readers scratching their heads about certain situations. I would say A Song of Ice and Fire is about as intricate as the human body. There are many systems that have like a job to do that connect many layers that overlap, bones and veins and muscles that all work together to produce like the swift moving story. So the detail, the mystery, the connecting of connections is probably why it takes George R.R. Martin so long to write these books. In today's video, I wanted to show you how one small change can affect the entire story. Where better to kick off this series than with one of my favorite witches of Westeros, Forgotten Magic, Maggy the Frog. So I'm going to be doing a series on the magic of Game of Thrones, the magic of A Song of Ice and Fire, the forgotten parts. So Maggy the Frog did appear in Game of Thrones in season 5, but her appearance didn't mean much because her appearance was just that, an appearance. Her story did not have the depth that it has in the books, nor the connections to multiple characters across multiple storylines. First of all, Maggy the Frog in the show was played by the beautiful Jodie May, whom also played Queen Calanthe in The Witcher. Maggy the Frog and Jodie May look nothing alike. Maggy the Frog is a haggard. She's haggard, bitch. Maggy the Frog in the books is described as short, squat, and warty with pebbly green jowls and crusty yellow eyes. She also has no teeth. Maggy the Frog was brought to Westeros by her husband. Her husband was a trader of pepper and saffron, as low-born as Davos. It is rumored that Maggy used a love potion on her husband, but Cersei says that her grandfather, Tytos Lannister, ennobled Maggy's son, and he founded House Spicer, a vassal of House Lannister. House Spicer, Lord Rolf Spicer, becomes Lord of Castamere, a title they received after the Red Wedding. Maggy the Frog is called a woods witch. Qyburn says that woods witches basically know some herb remedies, but most are harmless creatures. Cersei says she was more than that. Half of Lannisport flocked to her for potions and love spells, and what Maggy the Frog did with Cersei, Qyburn says, was blood magic, the darkest magic of all. A servant girl at Casterly Rock said that Maggy the Frog could summon demons, curse a man to fall in love, and foretell the future. When Cersei is 10 years old, Cersei and 2 of her friends visited Maggy the Frog. One of the friends, Jean Farman, got freaked out and ran at the sight of Maggy's yellow eyes crusted with something vile. Maggy then gives Cersei the prophecy that she becomes consumed with. "You will not wed the prince, you will wed the king. Queen you shall be," the old woman had promised, with her lips still wet and red and glistening, "until there comes another, younger and more beautiful, to cast you down and take all you hold dear. Will the king and I have children? The king will have 16, you'll have 3. Gold shall be their crowns, and gold their shrouds," she said. "And when your tears have drowned you, the Valonqar shall wrap his hands about your pale white throat and choke the life from you." In the Game of Thrones TV show, the Valonqar part of the prophecy was left out, and the Valonqar did not kill Cersei, unless the Valonqar is a rock. This is not a Who is the Valonqar video, but I do feel like Cersei's character is more than a woman that is just obsessed with being queen. She's a motherless, fearful woman that has been eaten away at by prophecy, venomous prophecy at that, since she was 10 years old. She's witnessed this prophecy being fulfilled right before her eyes. First of all, Cersei's friend Melara got prophecy as well. Melara had a crush on Jaime Lannister, and she asked Maggy if she would marry Jaime. "Not Jaime nor any other man," said Maggy. "Worms will have your maidenhead. Your death is here tonight, little one. Can you smell her breath? She is very close." And she died. She drowned in a well. It's thought that Cersei killed her, but either way, Cersei realized right from the get-go that Maggy's prophecies were not that 1-800 Miss Cleo bullshit, and it's driven her crazier and crazier as each prophecy has been fulfilled. But I'm wondering if that's all the morrows Maggy the Frog has tasted, because there is an entire book plot that you don't know about from watching Game of Thrones that's tied up in Maggy the Frog that has absolutely nothing to do with Cersei. Actually, it kind of does, but in a roundabout way. Maggy the Frog's granddaughter is Lady Sybil Spicer. Lady Sybil Spicer is married to Gawain Westerling. Gawain Westerling is Lord of House Westerling. Their castle is the Crag. They are also bannermen of House Lannister. House Westerling is a poor house. Their castle is in ruins. They don't have money to fix it. It's ramshackle as fuck. Robb Stark and his forces storm the castle and take it. Robb is wounded. He gets the fake news about Rickon and Bran, and Lady Sybil's daughter is there to nurse and comfort Robb during his moment of vulnerability. Robb takes her maidenhead and then gets married because Robb is an honorable fool. Now, Lady Sybil should be happy about this. Her daughter would be queen. The Lannisters never offered her any marriages. Actually, Jean's father Gawain had offered Jean to Kevin Lannister's second or third son and was refused because of her doubtful blood. The blood tainted with Maggy the Frog's blood. Keep in mind that Kevin Lannister's first son, Lancel, married Amory Frey, who is nicknamed Gatehouse Amy because she's banged more men than you could count. Her vagina is a gatehouse door. Her parents married her to a freaking hedge knight, and when he died, Lancel, Kevin's firstborn son, married her. So this is how low the Lannisters look upon House Westerling due to their tainted blood. But for some reason, instead of embracing Robb Stark, King Robb Stark, and their daughter being queen, they've remained fiercely loyal to House Lannister. Jean Westerling was trying to get pregnant by Robb Stark. "Jean," she called after, "there's one more thing Robb needs from you, though he may not know it yet himself. A king must have an heir." The girl smiled at that. "My mother says the same. She makes a posset for me, herbs and milk and ale to help make me fertile. I drink it every morning. I told Robb I'm sure to give him twins, an Eddard and a Brandon. He liked that. I think we try most every day, my lady, sometimes twice or more." The girl blushed very prettily. "I'll be with child soon, I promise. I pray to our mother above every night." Jean wanted to have Robb's baby, and her mom was supposedly giving her this potion to help her get pregnant. It is later revealed that her mother did indeed make her some potion, but it had done the exact opposite of what it said it would. Her mom was giving her plan B. Her mom was giving her birth control. Jaime turned to the daughter. "I am sorry for your loss. The boy had courage, I'll give him that. There is a question I must ask you. Are you carrying his child, my lady?" Jean burst from her chair and would have fled the room if the guard at the door had not seized her by the arm. "She is not," said Lady Sybil, as her daughter struggled to escape. "I made certain of that, as your lord father bid me." Jaime nodded. Tywin Lannister was not a man to overlook such details. Sybil Spicer betrayed Robb Stark. She sold his secrets to Tywin Lannister. She ensured that he would not have an heir. She labels Robb a rebel. But why? Why would she do that when the Lannisters have never done her or her house any favors? And it isn't like Tywin was promising that Jean would marry Joffrey or Tommen. Maybe she thought Robb Stark could not win. But maybe it's more than that. Maybe she already knew that the Lannisters would win. How would she know? Well, her grandmother was Maggy the Frog. Her grandmother saw the future of House Lannister when she tasted Cersei's blood. She saw Cersei's 3 children. She knew that Cersei would be queen until another queen came, not a king. Did Maggy relay that information in earlier years? I thought that maybe Lady Sybil has the same gifts or abilities of seeing the future that Maggy had, but there hasn't been anything concrete on that. I can tell you that Grey Wind sniffed their bullshit out in the very beginning. Catelyn had warned Robb, but a hard head makes a soft ass. Maggy the Frog's magic, her ability to see the future, is different. She sees things so clearly compared to others. The Ghost of Highheart sees the future in symbols: a shadow with a burning heart butchering a golden stag, or a maiden with purple serpents in her hair. Like, you have to figure out what the hell she's talking about. Melisandre sees the visions in flames that she needs to decipher. Those visions are symbols and she needs to figure out what they are. Maggy the Frog sees her visions of the future clearly. She sees them clearly and she says them clearly. And she sees them as clearly as Bran sees the past in the Weirwoods, and as clear as Daenerys sees the past and future in the House of the Undying. The funny thing is, the trees at the House of the Undying are like a dichotomy for the Weirwood trees, and I believe that Maggy the Frog is actually tied to the Children of the Forest, and there's a lot of evidence for that. Maggy is not Maggy's real name. They call her Maggy the Frog because Maggy is short for Magi, and the frog because she looks like a frog. Kevin Lannister says that no one could pronounce her real name. Cersei says her real name was something long, Eastern, and outlandish. Eastern names aren't really all that outlandish, and they're not long either. But you know who do have long names? The Children of the Forest. Bran says their names are too long for human tongue, so Bran and Mira named them based on their looks. Snowy Locks is one of the Children of the Forest, and they name her that because she has white hair, Snowy Locks. And Maggy the Frog happens to have a name too long to pronounce, and she's called the Frog because of her appearance, just like Bran and the Children of the Forest. It also should be noted that the Children of the Forest have yellow eyes, and so does Maggy. Now, I'm not saying that she is 100% child of the Forest, but she may be descendant of them. What makes this even more interesting is the implications that it could be there when it comes to the Ghost of Highheart, Jenny of Oldstone, and Prince Duncan of Summerhall, and Maggy the Frog, Robb Stark, Jean Westerling, and the Red Wedding. When Catelyn and Robb are on their way to the Red Wedding, they stop in Oldstones. Robb Stark even recalls the song Jenny of Oldstones with the flowers in her hair. Jenny of Oldstones is much like Jean. Jenny of Oldstones marries a would-be king, and she's a peasant girl who lived half wild in ruins and claimed to be descendant of long-vanished kings of the First Men. She also brought a woods witch to court with her, whom many believe was the Ghost of Highheart, whom Jenny claimed was a child of the forest. Many also believe that Jenny was the daughter or granddaughter of the Ghost of Highheart. The parallels with Robb Stark and Jean Westerling and Maggy the Frog are absolutely clear-cut in my opinion. The Prince of Dragonflies loved Jenny of Oldstones so much he cast aside a crown and Westeros paid the bride price in corpses. Does that not sound like Jean Westerling and Robb Stark? I feel like this could shed a ton of light on Summerhall. Did the Ghost of Highheart have a sinister part to play in Summerhall, similar to Sybil Spicer with the Red Wedding, similar to Maggy the Frog? What do you think about Maggy the Frog, and do you see how stripping even a little of the magic from characters changes the story? But what do you think? I'll be doing more of these forgotten magic videos. I'm going to do the Ghost of Highheart next, and we're going to crack all into Summerhall because I got to tell y'all something. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks to everyone that supports me on Patreon. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and join the sweet summer family. Okay, my sweet summer children, have a good day.